Hello, people of the internet. This is Shaky Jake, and I really need a catchphrase. You're watching Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, with the restored content modification, and that is a very nice sight overhead. Previously on KotOR 2, we ignored the main quest in favour of doing a few random bits and pieces here and there, including picking up a new party member in the form of Visas, who is the mysterious Sith apprentice of one of the Sith Lords in this game. We haven't actually talked to her much yet though, so I'm saving that for the future. And we also had a fight with the Handmaiden, because that's part of her sort of backstory that you can exploit and learn more about her through. But this time we are actually going to return to the main quest and try and find Master Vrook, because unfortunately we do have to try and find him, as annoying as he is. But before I do anything else, and there's the there it is again. Before I do anything else, I do want to talk to Kreia a few times, because we're going to make a monumental change in how my character plays. So let's talk to Kreia for a bit.
You are spending time with the servant of Atris.
So what?
I knew her mother. She was a Jedi Knight, a Master, named Aaron Kai. Jedi are forbidden to have children, and when the crime finally came to light almost a decade later, Kai was exiled. She joined the Mandalorian Wars after the shame of her birth was revealed.
How do you know that? The Handmaiden told me not to speak of it.
Revan welcomed her, and she was said to be a skilled warrior, beautiful and strong in the Force. The Force flows strongly in the blood of those born from Force sensitives. I doubt that Aaron was any different. If the servant of Atris is of her blood, then the potential lies within her. If you train her, if you teach her the ways of the Jedi, you will be asking her to break her oath to Atris. It would be best not to train her, and let the bloodline die with Telos.
But shouldn't she know her heritage?
Should she? By whose judgment should such truths be revealed? I do not have such arrogant presumptions. The Jedi separate children from their parents as they did you. It is because family exerts a powerful influence on one's development. I am merely saying that revealing such things can have profound consequences, nothing more.
Some of Kreia's lines in this game make her out to be such a hypocrite at times. You said teach her the ways of the Jedi. Curious choice of words.
Ah, that was an interesting choice of words indeed. She has sworn not to follow the path of the Jedi by her oath, but even that oath is limited. One does not need to be Jedi to learn the ways of the Force. I suspect it cares little for our codes and philosophies.
But there is only Jedi and Sith. So what you are proposing seems a greater evil.
Once there were only Jedi. I wonder what evil was in such days. And to think once there
probably
were no Jedi
normal people.
At all. Perhaps the Force defies such rigid classification of its followers. But we were speaking of the servant of Atris. I would caution you to be careful of your interaction with her. She is not as tempered as you.
How could I train her?
You must train yourself first. The time will reveal itself. Yet if you persist as you have, building her trust, then you will be training her, whether you know it or not, until the choice is hers, not yours.
Never mind, I'll be going now.
Before you go, a word of caution. Spend time with her if you must, but recognize where your true loyalties lie, to the galaxy and yourself.
My feelings for her are none of your concern.
Ah, so then perhaps I was mistaken in my judgment. Never have you wondered what it would mean in the Ichani rituals if the two of you sparred and fought, and you won, completely and utterly? If perhaps she would give in, surrender herself to you? Few are the thoughts that can hide in the shadows of your mind. Exile. And such passions are not strength, but erosion.
I'm not sure I like where this conversation's going. I never felt anything like that.
No? Then perhaps I was simply mistaken. Very well. I shall keep such judgments to myself.
But you won't, because I'm going to talk to you again very shortly. Now, when Kreia was talking about the handmaiden's mother, Aaron Kai, or Aaron K, as some people pronounce it, there's an interesting fan theory that's been going about for many years now, probably as long as this game's been out. And it theorises the idea that Kreia was actually Aaron Kai at some point in her life. Which, if that's true, means Kreia is the handmaiden's mother, who presumably faked her own death and went by a different identity, known as Kreia. And it's a theory I quite like. It's one I can get behind, and one that I personally believe in, and I think it's actually true. Some people don't, and that's fine. There are a couple of flaws with the theory, meaning, you know, Aaron Kai's meant to be this great warrior, and Kreia is the opposite of that. She's more of a, you know, force-based user as opposed to complete and utter warrior-type character. But it's a theory I like, and I know Chris Avalon has been behind the theory as well, based on when somebody asked him about it, and he was basically saying that it was a good catch and various other things. So it's a good theory. I've always liked it, and I do believe in it personally. But anyway, let's talk to Kreia again.
You have grown strong in the Force. I can feel its touch upon you. Do not let the higher mysteries blind you to others. Turning away from that which tempts you or causes you fear is not strength. Facing it is. I have seen you display many acts of mercy, charity in our journey. Why?
Because I really hate being nasty to people in games. I know that sounds really corny, but I actually do hate being nasty. Because if I can help, I will.
Even if it weakens those you help, even if it robs them of the strength needed to grow, you have been chased, hounded since our first meeting, and it has only made you stronger, more capable.
That's just RPG logic, Kreia. If you think you're trying to guilt me out of helping people, you won't succeed.
Ah, then you have learnt nothing. From such small things, from such critical points, the universe and its masses may be moved. That is why you must be careful in all that you do, and in every choice you make. Aiding them gives you strength by taking on their challenges, but weakens them. If that is your choice, then use their dependency, feed upon it, until you have exhausted them. Then leave them. And I would view the ones you travel with much the same way.
I never quite understood this logic when I first played the game, and when I was younger, but as I got older I realised what Kreia was basically saying was, if you take somebody else's, you know, role in what they're supposed to do, then you're robbing them of the opportunity to become stronger people if they had taken it on their own. Which I can sort of understand, but the way Kreia twists it is a little bit flawed, because some people do actually need that help, and they, you know, they can't do it on their own. In order to gain influence with Kreia, I am going to say the dark-sided option here. Then I shall view you as disposable then.
Ah, now you are learning. Do you know why those we meet display such weakness? As I said, their lives are static, untested. It is only through interaction, through decision and choice, through confrontation, physical or mental, that the Force can grow within you. You have seen it. You have felt it within you as you have traveled with me. The growing anger, the rage, and the power it brings. Yet the power does not build without such struggle. Through small cruelties, greater ones are born.
But I've been fairly level-headed through most of this game, Kreia. Whatever, never mind, I'll be going now. So we got some dark side points, and we gained influence with Kreia. To be honest, I can gain the light side points back, it's not a problem. Now I'm going to demonstrate one more thing with Kreia. So I'm going to talk to her as normal now, just to show you one thing.
Yes? Have you come with questions?
Okay, so we got the stable Kreia stock response there. Now, I'm going to level up, and then we're going to talk to Kreia again. Because this is the final time I'm going to level up as a Jedi Consular. Because once we get to level 15, it's one of 2 or 3 things that will allow us the chance to prestige to another class. very much like the first Knights of the Old Republic game, where you started off as a soldier, scout, scoundrel, and then you could become a Jedi Guardian, Consular, Sentinel later on. In this game, you get to become another Jedi class on top of the Jedi class you already are. So we're going to level up. And skills, I'm just going to go for... yeah, I'm actually going to put some in stealth for a change. Who'd have thought it? And we're going to start upgrading to weapon fighting, because we need to. We got 2 force powers for the last time ever in this game, so I'm going to go for Master Speed and Force Armour, because those will be useful. Now I'm going to talk to Kreia again.
Ah, you are here. You felt it, did you not?
Yes, it was a sound, like power.
The time to hide your presence is coming to a close, and you will need to increase your training. You are ready. Your training must increase, and there are higher mysteries you must learn. But only you must know the path you will take. I cannot choose it for you. Is it battle that stirs you? To meet an enemy blade upon blade? Such is the way of the greatest of Jedi warriors, the Weapon Masters. Or perhaps it is investigating the mysteries of the galaxy, seeking out injustice and harm, and bringing it into the light. Such is the way of the Jedi Watchman in the time of Ulic Qel-Droma and Exar Kun. Or perhaps your way lies upon the ancient mysteries, and to teach others the ways of the Force, as I have, the way of the Jedi Masters.
I have been all of these classes at least once, except for Jedi Watchman. At least as far as I can remember. So for this playthrough I am actually going to go for Jedi Watchman, but I'm going to explain why in a moment. All of these classes are essentially sequels to the Jedi Guardian, Jedi Consular and Jedi Sentinel classes. So the Weapon Master is the Jedi Guardian sequel class, the Jedi Master is the sequel to the Jedi Consular class, and the Jedi Watchman is the sequel to the Jedi Sentinel class. And if you're dark-sided, you have dark-side alternatives. So for the Weapon Master, it's a Sith Marauder. If it's a Jedi Master, it's Sith Lord. And if it's a Jedi Watchman, it's a Sith Assassin. And each of those classes have different skills, abilities, and force powers, and whatever else. And the requirements for this conversation to trigger are that you have to be at least level 15, and you have to have encountered Visas and Hava in your party. Essentially, unlike the first game, this is very easy to miss if you haven't got enough light side or dark side points. I'm going to become a Jedi Watchman, so Jedi Watchmen should return to the galaxy, and I will be the first to restore them.
It is not some great test you require to be what you strive to be. It is only your decision to find that path that matters. From here on, you guide your destiny. But in order to take the next steps, you must face your past and put it to rest.
And we've now become a prestige class and taken our first steps to learning the higher mysteries of the Force. So, I don't know if it's just my current playthrough and if it's just a coincidence, but when I checked this out earlier, every single party member also leveled up with me. I think it just might be coincidence. But anyway, I'm going to level up once I've done Bayodor and Kreia. But as you can see, we've now got Jedi Watchman at level 0, so we'll do that shortly. And we'll just level up Bayodor whilst we're waiting. Feats, I want to give him... oh, what do I want to give Bayodor actually? I think I might start getting him sorted with 2 weapon fighting, because I am going to give him a weapon at some point. And then Kreia can just have her usual. Because I promise you, we are going to look for Master Vrook very shortly. Now, I'm going to level up for the first time as a Jedi Watchman, because we're not going to have any more Jedi Consular level ups. So I think the recommended is Dexterity, which is perfectly fine with me, to be honest, because I do want to start focusing on the whole Gunslinger thing that I've been putting off for quite some time. Skills, now if I had to pick Jedi Weapon Master, because I often go for Jedi Weapon Master, I would actually lose skill points here, which is really annoying because I boosted up my intelligence for this very reason. So I want to get awareness to 15, because you want this at 15 at some point in the game, because I know there's a really good awareness check that requires 15 later on. And feats, we've now got a couple of Jedi Watchman related ones. You get different ones depending on which class you prestige to. So sneak attack is actually a really good advantage for me as a Jedi Watchman, because I can actually use my Gunslinger type skills to actually tie in sneak attack quite nicely. And I want to get Master 2 weapon fighting up for definite, because that will mean I can now start using 2 guns finally and not have too many penalties. We've also got Force Camouflage, which I'm not sure what that does. It doesn't tell me on here. I might have to look that up separately. And I'm going to start upgrading some other powers at some point, but for now let's get Master 4 Scream so I have at least 1 offensive power. And there we go. We got our first level as Jedi Watchman. So I'm going to switch weapons over to 2 guns. Enter the Jedi Gunslinger Watchman finally, or something along those lines. And there we go, we can actually do some damage for once. Again, I'm still getting a little bit of lag. I'm not sure why, because this isn't a demanding game on my PC, but I'm guessing it's because of OBS being annoying and some other stuff. So I'm going to take out these Kinrath. Kinrath? What am I saying? No, they are Kinrath. Or thought I'd accidentally screwed up the Star Wars monsters then. And it feels so good finally being able to shoot things properly. This is what I've been after. Now, where's the other Kinrath? There we go. So this is where we need to go. Not the tree, but what's behind it, because that's where Master Vrook is. Which I'm sure the game has already told us, but whatever. We'll go there in a few minutes, because I need to talk to a couple of people before I do. One of which is this person up here. And before we do that, I actually want to open up this, see if he's got anything good. 142 credits and a Charlie shield. Not bad, randomly selected loot. Now, let's talk to you.
What? You shouldn't sneak up on an old fella like that. You shouldn't be out of here anyway. This is Kinrath territory.
I can take care of myself.
It's just a habit. We warn people that the area around Kunda is dangerous, but some of them don't listen. Probably nothing you can't handle, but I'd stay clear of the caves all the same.
What's so dangerous about the caves?
The Kinrath have been tunneling for years. Those caves have a whole swarm of them. We've collapsed a couple of the caves, but they just come right back.
That might imply the cave entrance from Knights of the Old Republic 1 as well that's been caved in. What are you doing out here?
A couple weeks back, there was an accident here. One of the Western Fringe farmers was coming to Kunda on his swoop with a load of atmospheric sensors. We found him dead and his swoop bike all banged up. I've come back a couple of times to try to figure out if that's what really happened.
Do you suspect foul play?
I do. The Kinrath are dangerous. But as long as you stay on your swoop bike, there's no way they should catch you. I've carefully searched this area and haven't found anything. So maybe our man just got sloppy. We really need those atmospheric sensors.
But Dantooine is temperate. There is no need for atmospheric sensors except for seasonal data collection.
Huh? It's just important we get it back. They're expensive pieces of equipment, and we can't afford to replace them. Regardless, I don't suppose you'd be willing to keep an eye out for something.
Why do you really want those sensors?
I just really need them. It's important. Please come to me if you find any of the atmospheric sensors. I'll pay you 1,000 credits for each one you find, whether they're broken or not.
That is very tempting. Any idea where they could be?
No idea whatsoever. I figure it's a real long shot you'd ever spot one. But I also figure it wouldn't hurt to ask.
I'll see what I can do. So, the reason we want to talk to him is because it will trigger something within these caves. So that's why I'm talking to him first. And that will open up a side quest where we need to try and find some atmospheric sensors. Before I go to the cave, I know I keep putting this off, but I do actually want to go back into Kunda to talk about the dead salvages I found in the Jedi Enclave sub-level, because we might be able to get a reward for that, and for some reason my character got stuck on an invisible wall. Well done, game. And yes, you want Bayodor with you at this part of the game because it's an influence opportunity basically, so that's why I have him with me. And before I forget, I am actually going to equip KotOR with a weapon because I imagine the caves are going to be very threatening. I just need to find a weapon that would actually be good for him. Do I have a... I don't have a double-bladed weapon, so it's going to have to be a vibro sword at this point. So, I need to talk to Zeron when I find him. Because he's over here, somewhere. Around this area. Hello, Zeron. Is everybody with me? Good.
It's you again. Well, you know who I am. I figure you've got a reason for coming back. You want something?
Yes, I want to talk about the dead salvager's claim.
I'll tell you what I tell all those grubby salvagers. No body, no claim. I'm no longer even looking at wills or credit notes, and if you think that's gruesome, then go space yourself.
That's a bit rude. I have the bodies right here. One of them had a will.
Let me see the will. I'll be glad to get rid of this claim and get those salvagers out of my headquarters. He left all his possessions to one of the other dead salvagers. Will I ever get rid of that damn Jedi garbage? Guess nobody gets them now. The administrator will have to figure out what happens to them. And until then, the salvagers are gonna keep bothering me.
Oh, that's so typical. It's a whole going around in circles thing. Anyway, we've done that, so we're sorted there. I think you might actually get access to them later once you've sorted a few things out on Dantooine. I think. I could be wrong about that, but there we go. That's that done. Let's head back to the caves where we're meant to be. And I also noticed, I think it was in the previous part, maybe the part before, I could hear one of my clocks ticking in the background of the recording, and you can only hear it if you listen very closely, but it was annoying enough for me to want to take it down this time. So the only reason I never noticed it before was because the clock in question had actually been it hadn't been working for a couple of months. Oh wow, I actually stunned the Kinrath somehow. Have they all respawned? No, good, they haven't. And I said respawn very weirdly then. What was I saying? Yeah, so this clock hadn't been working for a couple of months, and then I put a battery in it, and it's been ticking away perfectly fine. But the issue is, it's because of where it is and how close it is to my PC, I can actually hear it ticking quite frequently. So I've took it down for the recording, and hopefully that won't be an issue now. But yeah, there we go. Let's go into the Crystal Cave, which has a different entrance to where it was in Knights of the Old Republic 1. And there's a strange Twi'lek dude walking through the caves, and he isn't being attacked. I wonder if we'll find out why. Yeah, you know that those atmospheric sensors that guy was looking for? They're right here. I don't think Obsidian put much effort into actually trying to hide these very well.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about what? The sensors?
They are vitally important pieces of equipment on tectonically or environmentally unstable regions. But do you really need atmospheric sensors on Dantooine?
Can you examine one of the sensors?
I'll have this open in no time.
And it literally will be no time.
Child's play.
Hidden surveillance device. Ooh, interesting. Good work, KotOR. And we gained influence with KotOR for that, which is good, because he likes being told he's fantastic, so let's do that. And we actually do need to get influence with KotOR very soon, because we've got potential future opportunities with him. And that's the reason why I brought KotOR with me. In theory, I could just dump him for the rest of the Crystal Caves and get someone else. And to be honest, I am tempted to do that, but for the sake of realism, I'm going to keep him in the party. And also because I don't use KotOR that much. Because as I've said in the past, I never used KotOR until many playthroughs later because I didn't like him initially. But yeah, there we go. Kreia's already taken a lot of damage, that's a bit worrying. You know, you could heal yourself, Kreia. Save me doing it. There we go. And the Twi'lek dude is coming back to us, so let's talk to him. Says the dude who's also walking around sneakily. Maybe you shouldn't be so jumpy. Okay, that's fair. I was a bit rude. Surely you've heard of me. I am Joan Corral, the famous spelunker. As if he bought that. And yeah, my voice is still a little bit rough at the moment, so I'm still recovering from this cold, which is really irritating, but I'm dosing myself up and hopefully I'll be better in a few days. But you're a mercenary. What do you know about the other mercenaries?
Da come jusmak miki baranye doso so rika chondin. Yatuka wan rika chotin wani maurata wakata.
Why do they keep you out of the loop?
Bram tabanin sochu. Da come jusmak miki baranye.
Why do you get special privileges?
Kavanatakalu.
I'm an explorer, like you. You can share your secret with me.
Hutayanolia. Thank
you, good persuade. Yeah, I'm skipping some of his dialogue, even though he is actually quite a quick speaker for a Twi'lek. Do you have an extra scent gland I could use? And we're obviously going to go for the Beatles reference here. I want to hold your gland. Oh, somebody at Obsidian had a good day writing that dialogue. So you can basically be a dickhead here and just basically say, no, I want to keep it, and get dark side points. But we're going to return it to him, so I mean, option number 3 is actually quite funny, but yeah. Okay, you can have it back. Oh yeah, that's a typical problem, losing my gland. I have that problem all the time. You are different from most of the mercenaries I've met. Isn't that what I said? Oh, whatever. You mentioned crystals? The energy you speak of is the Force. I sense some small Force potential within you. Oh, suppose. I was once a Jedi. I'll be going now. That was an interesting conversation. We don't really see him much again, but yeah, there he is. He's a good dark side opportunity though. If you want to take his gland, you get easy dark side points. And Beodor is dead. Oops, should have been. Oh god, Kreia's dead as well. Why is everyone dying so much? I suppose it's because these are Viper Kinrath, but yeah, that was a bit worrying. Guys, you can get back up now. You lot are absolutely useless. I would have been better off on my own. So,
yes.
Even the crystal caves in this game are actually creepier than normal. At least compared to the first game, they're a bit creepier. There's a lot of Kinrath here. Alright, let's just kill them and hopefully nobody faints this time. Okay, good. I am pleased that my Gunslinger skills are finally in there. So what I normally do with the crystal caves is I normally explore them fully before finding Master Vrook, just so I can do this area in one go. Although, the crystal caves are actually less important for me this time around because I'm a Gunslinger. And you'll find out why later. But for now, let's just explore the crystal caves and hope we don't die to these Kinrath. Okay, you'd have to run towards them, me. It's funny because in most games, normally I'd be the one with the lightsaber and Kreia would still be using a vibroblade or something, but because I'm the Gunslinger, she's got early priorities with the lightsaber for once. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, just Kill the Kinrath, heal. There we go. Believe the crystals are this way. I think the graphics mod I downloaded for Dantooine, well, not that I've got it active at the moment, but I think it even improves the textures in the crystal caves as well, but I'll have to double check that when I next put them on.
Fallen.
Oh. You're gonna die again. Yep, whatever. These Kinrath are actually very strong, or maybe Bao-Dor's just not suited for combat. And there are actually some party members who really aren't suited for combat, even more so than the first game. And Kreia wasn't really doing anything there, which is a bit irritating, but oh well. So I think a cutscene's going to trigger here very shortly, so I'm going to heal Bao-Dor up as best I can, put some shields on, because I can't remember if anything else triggers.
What is it?
Yeah?
I also find this music really creepy as well. It crops up a few times in this game, but I actually find it quite creepy. So is the cutscene going to trigger? And this will trigger even if Kreia is not in the party because of the whole psychic ability she has.
Your thoughts are disturbed. I can feel them like a shiver running through you. Force-sensitive locations such as this absorb and reflect force energy. The crystals are the catalyst here. I sense that Revan once passed through here, leaving a strong impression behind in the crystals. Perhaps future Jedi who visit this cave will feel our presence, as if seeing our footprints preserved in the soil.
This conversation happens regardless of whether Kreia's with you or not. If she's not with you, she'll just communicate through to your brain. Tell me more about these crystals.
The crystals here are infused with the Force. Some could be harvested and used for lightsabers.
You said the crystals absorb the Force? I feel strange, but not weaker.
The crystals here do not drain Force energy from Jedi. They collect the excess energy that radiates from those attuned to the Force.
I don't like the idea of leaving behind evidence.
That can hardly be avoided. Even mundane actions of the basest creatures can create detectable ripples in the Force. A Minok beating its wings on the plains could cause a sandstorm in the desert, and figuratively speaking, Jedi have much bigger wings.
What if I destroyed all the crystals here?
That would create quite a large impression of yourself, and the crystals would eventually grow back.
I'm assuming that large impression is being a dickhead. Okay. And, yep, we got more enemies. This is going to be a problem, isn't it? This is exactly the same area where we were in Knights of the Old Republic 1. Like, this is literally the exact same area. I think we probably had a slightly different opening to it, though, in the first game. So now we've got a whole bunch of Kinrath we're going to have to kill. Hopefully they're not going to be too annoying. We've still got our shields on, so that's good. Kreia, I've got a better idea for you. You're going to use lots of Force Lightning. I said you're going to use lots of Force Lightning, because I accidentally took it out. Okay, there we go, that's a good sign. Force Lightning is so overpowered. And I'm going to heal Bao-Dor because he's going to die if I'm not careful. And so's Kreia at this rate. And there we go. We took them out. I think a journal entry triggers because, yeah, we killed the main Kinrath. Oh, is that to do with... Oh, yeah, it is. We can go back to Zeron and get a reward for that. Kreia, you don't need to do that. We've got another crystal we can give to Kreia's lightsaber, and there's still a Kinrath around, so combat music ended a bit prematurely there. And Master Force Scream is actually doing very well for us, which is good. I think Master Force Scream is actually quite underrated. It's not as powerful as... Oh, we need Kreia for the next few minutes now. It's not as powerful as, say, Force Lightning or Force Storm is, but it is still pretty good. Now these Kinrath eggs, unlike the first game, do not always have... Oh, Sigil Crystal's really good. I actually do want to put that in this lightsaber. The Kinrath eggs don't always have lightsaber crystals in like the first game did, which is really irritating, to be honest, because it makes them a bit pointless. Or if they do have it, it doesn't actually tell you that it's giving you anything. I'm deliberately ignoring one crystal for a moment because I want to leave that till last. And apparently Kreia's aim is really bad. One more egg. The only thing you can do with this Kinrath egg is smash it. But there we go, we've smashed them all. Now we can go for these other crystals. Okay, we've got a purple crystal there, which would actually be quite suitable for Kreia now I think about it, but stick with green like the concept art. I think this is the last one then. And this is why this isn't as important for me. Because I'm not using a lightsaber, I can't use this crystal. Nor can anyone else, which is really sad.
The crystal responds to you. This is very rare indeed.
But it happens in every playthrough, so it's not that rare. What does it mean?
The crystal's bond with you is such that the stronger you become in the Force, the more powerful your crystal will grow. This crystal will make an excellent focus for a lightsaber.
Too bad I'm not using a lightsaber in this playthrough. Is the bond dangerous?
Quite the contrary. Picture yourself as a sieve, and the Force as water pouring into you. This crystal draws from the excess water that escapes the sieve.
Barador's just standing really awkwardly close to me. So this crystal feeds off the light side of the Force?
The crystal is in tune with you. It will use whatever water that pours through you, be it dark or light.
And if you're neutral, tough luck. At least that's what I'm assuming. I'm actually going to say the immature option here, but I've gained a pet crystal. I hope I don't have to feed it.
You scoff at this gift, but many Jedi would greatly covet such a treasure.
Yeah, but I'm not using a lightsaber in this. Then others may try to steal the crystal from me.
No, the crystal has bonded to you. Another Jedi would have little use for it.
So I can't give it to Kreia. Okay. Bit of a shame, because it means I won't get to use a very good item, but I made myself become a gunslinger, so it's my fault. I think that's... Oh no, we still got one more place to explore before we go and find Master Vrook. And then we'll go and rescue him, regrettably. Oh, the Kinrath are back. Look at how much damage we did. Basically, you want to activate Master Speed as much as possible when you're using guns, because you get an extra shot in. And it's something I've never tried out before, so this is why playing as a gunslinger is actually really refreshing for me. I may have to do another playthrough of this game, and the first game, at some point, just to vary it up a bit more, but who knows, that will be in the future if I ever decide to. Let me know if you want to see me do another playthrough of the Knights of the Old Republic games, because I will play them again at some point, if anybody wants me to. Wouldn't mind doing a dark side run at some point, because it was something I was debating for this game, and then I just sort of chickened out of it if I was going to go dark-sided. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do for this game. I think I just went with whatever felt natural to me at the time. And this Kinrath has almost killed me. Thanks for focusing on Kreia instead, I really appreciate that, random Kinrath. Right, Master Speed, Force Scream, which is doing tons of damage, which I'm grateful to see. We are becoming a bit more beastly now. And I like that Kreia references Revan in these caves, because, you know, I just like that there's throwbacks to the first Knights of the Old Republic. It's really nice to hear after you've played the first game. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to do before we approach Master Vrook, who is right here, and there's a whole bunch of mercenaries right here. So I'm going to put shields on again. And let's approach them. There's Master Vrook. He doesn't look too happy, as ever.
Halt, settler. This is a restricted area. How the hell did you get through the Kinrath? You should leave.
That's the same question I'd like to ask you. So the mercenaries are branching out into kidnapping now?
This isn't kidnapping, this is bounty hunting. This Jedi is worth a lot of credits on Nar Shaddaa, and we're collecting. I'm gonna say this nice and simple for your little calf-hurting head. Unless you want to wind up dead, leave now.
Well, can I ask you a question?
I'm not in a question-answering mood. You're not supposed to be here. Leave or face the consequences.
Can we work out some sort of deal?
I follow my orders, and nothing you can offer will change that. Besides, we're gonna get rich off the bounty for this Jedi.
I love how she just answered another question, regardless of the fact she just didn't want to. And I'm not going to use Force Persuade, because that would be silly, so I don't want to fight, but I can't let you take Vrook to Nar Shaddaa.
I warned you, but I'm glad you didn't listen. Attack, men!
Right, I'm actually going to use a grenade for a change. Plasma grenade, and yeah, Baodor, can you throw a grenade as well, please? No, don't talk to me. Oh, really? Oh, and it interrupted the it interrupted it then because of that. So I need to throw this and then throw a frag grenade for the lols.
I hear you.
And then Kreia, you can do your force thing. And I'm not shooting for some reason, come on. And the captain's been taken out very quickly, so that's nice. And everyone else. Ooh, Baodor and Kreia have leveled up. We'll deal with that later. I suspect all of my party members are going to have lots of level ups when I next see them. Oh, Kreia's almost down, that's a bit of a problem. There we go. And then once this last guy's taken out, Master Vrook is going to talk.
Always rushing into action without thinking of the consequences. What? You're expecting thanks? Kunda is in danger, and you've ruined the best chance of averting a full-scale conflict.
Yeah, a normal person would have thanked me, Vrook. Always a pleasure, Vrook. I see you still have your cheery disposition.
Is this a joke to you? People's lives are at stake. Every action has consequences, no matter how small or insignificant they seem. And even the smallest choice has the potential for harm. The Mandalorian Wars was proof of this. Intentions mean nothing if a greater tragedy is caused.
I'll get a personality, Vrook. And you always have to bring the past up. Is this the same careful timing you were counting on in the Mandalorian Wars?
Did you think rushing into battle against the Mandalorians did anything but bring more harm to the galaxy? It only served to bring about a second war more dangerous than the first. Countless Jedi died in both conflicts, and everyone who followed Revan and Malak died or returned to the dark side. Except, conveniently, you.
The Jedi Civil War would have still happened even if every single Jedi didn't take part in it. Revan and Malak were misguided, but without them we'd all be speaking Mandalorian.
Revan acted. You acted. There's no way of knowing what would have happened had you trusted in the Council, much like what you have done today. Enough of this. This is not the time for such arguments. The mercenaries have allied themselves with the Exchange and are planning to attack Kunda. They've been holding off for the right moment. And now, since they lost their captive Jedi, they'll attack immediately. I'm going to try to reach Administrator Adari. Time is of the essence.
Yet Master Vrook is still an egotistical old man. He's actually more irritating in this game than the first game. Because at least in the first game, you could argue he actually had a point about giving Revan back his memories, or wiping Revan's memories and hoping he didn't fall back to the dark side. He had a good reason for not trusting in that. If you actually fell to the dark side in that game, Vrook was actually in the right. And we've got a data pad which has orders from Azkul to senior mercenary officers, and they're going to... Oh, they've set up an alliance with the Exchange. That's bad. I actually forgot to show off a data pad from the Jedi Enclave sub-level. I've just got to see if I can find it. It's the head technician one. Or did I show that one? There was definitely one that I didn't show. I think it was this storage room one. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so he was going to leave Dantooine rich, and obviously he didn't. And then the mercenary orders, we already picked that up on the screen. But yeah, that's all of this cave done. We have no reason to ever come back here as far as I'm aware. And it's a lot creepier than the first game. And whilst we're here and about to leave, let's level up KotOR and Kreia. So... there. Oh, what? Oh yeah, of course we don't. Fine, I'll save that for later then. And that will probably be the last level up I do with KotOR for a while. And then Kreia, you can have your usual. And she's actually got a feat for once. Okay. Yeah, we'll just make her a bit more durable. And Kreia, yes, you can have those. Actually, Master Speed would be better for you. Right, let's leave then and see what happens.
You are the Jedi I've heard reports of, and I am Azkul, leader of the mercenaries on Dantooine.
Ah, this is who Jamie Glover voices, the who I was talking about a couple of parts ago. I've learned that you are planning an assault on Kunda.
That is correct, and I want you to help me.
Why would I help you?
According to my reports, I have 4 times as many soldiers as the militia, and I'm committed to taking Kunda. It is inevitable that I will succeed. If you wish to avoid my men eradicating the people of Dantooine, you will make it easier for me to take Kunda. Of course, I will pay well for your services.
You could just say please, that might also help. What do you have in mind?
There are many ways someone with your abilities can aid us. Before the action begins, I have 2 main tasks in mind for you. Disable the gun turrets and the traps.
So you want me to destroy the gun turrets?
Deal with the turrets, however you see fit. Just keep them from pestering my men. Decide quickly. I have a slaughter to plan.
Look, I don't like your attitude. What about the traps?
When the militia learns of our attack, they will plant traps around the entrances to Kunda. Disable them. Decide quickly. I have a slaughter to plan.
I like the fact that one of your eyes is really screwed up there. In order to please Kreia, and I always like picking this option anyway, I'm going to lie. Okay, I'll help you.
Return to me when you are ready for us to begin our assault. I warn you not to keep me waiting.
Well maneuvered. With both the mercenaries and the militia counting on your aid, you can influence the outcome of the situation as you see fit.
I know certain party members won't like you doing that. I know the Handmaiden doesn't, and I would have thought KotOR wouldn't have liked it either, but apparently he doesn't care, which is good for me, so I don't lose any influence with him. But yeah, now that we've done that, we've temporarily tricked Azkul into thinking we're going to help him, but we're not. We're going to help Kunda, because we're good, and we want Dantooine to not be a mercenary land. Let's talk to you.
I don't suppose you found any of those atmospheric sensors?
I suppose I have. Could you tell me about the Kenrath in the area? I just want to make conversation.
There was a time when seeing a Kenrath was a rare thing. They mostly were around some caves to the south of here. But now, they're everywhere. They're dangerous, too. More vicious than they used to be. I'd stay away from the eastern side of the plains. Heck, now that I think about it, stay away from the west, too. The west is filled with Cathhounds. Dantooine is in a sad state these days.
Good to know. Can we talk to you again? Because we just had a really pointless conversation with him then. I found 3 of them.
That's great news. My offer still stands. I'll pay you 3,000 credits for all of them.
As much as I would love the 3,000 credits, I have to get influence with KotOR, so... sounds like it's worth more to you than that.
It is worth more to us than that. I'll pay you 4,000 credits for the lot of them.
I think I'll hold on to it for now.
If you must, but I'd really like to buy them off of you. They're important. Come back if you change your mind. Are you ready to trade those atmospheric sensors for credits yet?
Not so fast. We found a little surprise inside them.
I was afraid of that. So, how do we do this, then?
Why is there surveillance equipment in the sensors?
We were picking up off-world transmissions between the mercenaries and someone, we don't know who. We know that the mercs are up to something, we just don't know what. We set those atmospheric sensors up to gather information. Now you know why we need those sensors. I'll pay you 5,000 credits for all 3 of them. That's about all we can afford. You make money and help us out at the same time. What do you say?
Yeah, 5,000 credits sounds good to me.
Thanks for your help on this. Here are the credits as promised. I'll get this to Zeron when I get back to Kunda.
Hopefully KotOR doesn't judge me too harshly there. Could have sworn I would have had an influence loss, but maybe not.
Thanks for helping out the militia.
Well, either way, KotOR's still fairly good with us, I think.
I didn't want to talk about the war, but can I ask you something?
Yeah, go on then.
Why did you decide to fight?
The Mandalorians had to be stopped.
I felt the same way. I remembered when word of the Mandalorian attacks arrived on Iridonia. My people had colonies across the Outer Rim. Many of them were among the first systems to fall.
As good a reason as any for joining.
I did not join because I wanted to protect, though. I hated them. I wanted to destroy them. To give them the mercy they gave the people they conquered. I remember the thrill I felt when we fought them in battle. Victories were rare, but we celebrated every Mandalorian's death. Do you know how it felt?
Yes, I felt it too. The rush of life as the Mandalorians were cut down.
It's always on my mind now. That loss of control blinded me, turned me into a weapon. I just needed to get that off my chest. Was there something you wanted me for?
Well, I've just triggered another conversation with you, so nope, that's fine. Is there any more?
Yes, General?
No, okay. We'll try again on the Ebon Hawk later. Because KotOR has his own sort of a personal quest. Basically, every party member has a personal quest. It's just not like the first game where everyone seemed to have a brother or a son or a mother or a friend across the same planets that we were trying to find the star maps. It's not quite as coincidental as that. So what we need to do now is we need to go into Kunda and get ready. I'm just going to save just in case, because we're very close to the end of Dantooine now. So I think first call of action is to talk to Administrator Adare.
I see you have found the elusive Master Vrook. He's told me that his rescue complicated our situation to some degree. I can't say that I anticipated that. I thank you for finding him, though. Vrook has informed me that the mercenaries devised a plan of attack to annihilate Kunda itself. I must ask for your aid again, Jedi. Zeron says that
Vrook, you're not taking this seriously. Why are you laughing?
Forces then coordinate their assault. So we still have time. I'm afraid the militia has not been adequately trained for the task that befalls them.
Who knows about the attack?
Right now, just us and the militia. I don't want to create a needless panic. But be assured I will make sure that all civilians are warned in time so they can get to safety. Though if we lose this battle, nowhere on Dantooine will be safe for settlers for long.
What can I do to help?
Our militia is effective at peacekeeping, but isn't prepared for a full-scale battle. If you can do anything to ready them for the reality of it, that would be helpful. Besides that, look around Kunda and see what you can do to strengthen our defenses. I know that we don't have the perimeter turrets online, and that alone could make a significant difference. Zeron says there is a considerable chance they will breach Kunda itself. Anything you can do to slow them down could turn the tide of battle.
Can you give me anything to help?
I have instructed the militia and other Kunda personnel that you are to be provided with anything that can be spared. Unfortunately, that isn't much.
Typical. I'll check out Kunda's defences then.
Here is a MasterCard key that will open all of the security doors inside Kunda. Anything that might aid you in your task, please use. Soon, all the civilians will be evacuated. So if you have any business with them, I suggest you take care of it. Whenever you are ready to finalize the defenses, talk with Zeron.
And there we go. This area is really strange. Every time there's an NPC in this general area, they always do these weird body movements where they're either laughing or whatever. And it's only in this area. I'm not sure why. Like, Vrook wasn't taking that conversation seriously whatsoever. Zeron?
I was right about you. You are trouble. But you might just be the right sort of trouble we need. The mercenaries aren't quick to mobilize, so you have time to do what you need. Or are you ready to finalize the defense plans?
It's nice that we can see Vrook's bald head here, pretty much, or half of his bald head. Just shave this off, it's not a good look for you. And we could just go straight into it now, but we're not going to be that foolish, because we want to actually help out. I cleared out the Kinrath cave.
So you did. Here's the credits I told you about. Even with the caves cleared, I imagine it'll take some time before the Kinrath aren't on the plains. That was very helpful of you. You've saved some lives today. The mercenaries aren't quick to mobilize, so you have time to do what you need.
I hate the fact that these characters are just laughing whilst we're having this conversation. What can I do to help?
We could use people handy with a blaster. Getting people to join the militia for a short stint would be good. We also got a lot of things that could use fixing. It isn't glamorous, but that type of work sometimes makes a load of difference. Just look around. Plenty to be done.
What kind of things need fixing?
Off the top of my head, the 3 turrets outside Kunda are on the blink. They went haywire the other day and wounded some of my men, so we took them offline. The men who were wounded by the turrets are holed up in the med lab, but our medic droid is busted, so they're healing slowly. I've had some men lay traps around Kunda, but nobody here really specializes in demolitions. I'm sure there's some gaps that could be filled. The side security door to Kunda has been malfunctioning as long as I've been here. It may be best to just seal it off lockdown so nobody gets through. We got some broken assault droids that have been collecting dust for the last 5 years. If they were working, it would help a lot with interior defense. If I had it my way, I'd recruit any citizen of Kunda that can hold a blaster. But it's hard to convince peaceful farmers to fight, maybe die for a cause.
How much time do I have?
I don't know for certain. It could be a day or even a week. Depends on how good Azkul is at organizing his men. I'm guessing not so good.
What's involved with finalizing the defenses?
Inspecting the perimeter, talking to the troops and coming up with a battle plan. I've fought in a war or two, but I'm no general. In my experience, people like you are better at strategy. You want a hand in making the plan, you got it.
I'm going to see what I can do.
When you're ready, come back and we can talk about the final plans to defend Kunda.
And there we go, we had a very long conversation there. Let's talk to you.
Zeron was right about the mercenaries all along. I guess my ego clouded my judgment as to what's best for Kunda.
Oh, that's one thing I forgot. Should have talked to Zeron before all this started. Can I still... I'm trying to think if I can still do that or not. Because I think one of those mercenaries who's by the old ruins, I can actually sort of convince him to do something. Let me just double check.